Good evening, everyone. Notice of this meeting stated date, place, and time has been disseminated as required under the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975. Copies of the agenda are also posted on the city's website and Linden TV for the public. This meeting is called to order. Mr. Clerk, can you please conduct a prayer and flag salute?
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to offer our congratulations on behalf of the mayor and the city council to our colleague Alfred Rodriguez on the birth of his son. Okay, I also want to announce in the event of an emergency, the proper method of exiting the council chambers is through the three doors in the rear of the room. Occupants should proceed down the staircase, out the front door, and move away from the area of the front steps. Any member of the public wishing to speak during the public comment session at the end of the meeting, please sign in on the white sheets provided at the front of the room with your name and address. For those here wishing to speak on the Green Acres grant from Lukowski Park, please sign in on the pink sheets. Again, for the grant, it's the pink sheets from Lukowski Park. For those wishing to speak on the Green Acres grant for Wilson Park Pond improvements, please sign in on the green sheets. Copies of the informational material relative to the two grant applications could also be found on a table in the front of the dais for your review. Please turn off all your cell phones or place them on vibrate. If you must take a call, please leave the council chamber to do so. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Ormond.
Here.
Javik.
Present.
Caldwell.
Present.
Mohammed.
Excused.
Rivas. Here. Roman.
Present.
Strano.
Excused.
Armstead.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Excused.
Hudak.
Here.
Mrs. Yemakaitis.
Here. Could we have approval of the public session minutes of July 15, 2024, please?
I make a motion, Council President, to I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of July 15th, 2024, and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond.
Here. Yes.
Javik.
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes.
Rivas.
Abstain.
Roman.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Hudak.
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis.
Yes. Okay, we're going to now move on to the Green Acres funding for improvements for George L. Milkowski Park. Okay, just a reminder, the informational packets in the front of the room here. I'm going to call upon at this time our management specialist, Keith Pressey, to present the concept plan and the findings of the impact analysis and mitigation measures section of the environmental impact assessment. Okay, Mr. Pressey, if you would, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Council President. Good evening, council members. Good evening, distinguished guests. Good evening, Linden residents. The city of Linden is seeking funding through the state of New Jersey Green Acres program for improvements to George L. Milkowski Park, located at 2100 Beetle Place, near the Beetle Place and McCandless Place intersections in Linden. A little bit about the park. The park property is mostly lawn with some trees surrounding the perimeter and some trees within the park. There's a recreation building on site. In the summer, the city operates a citywide summer camp there for children with special needs at this site. Wildlife, such as squirrels, possum, geese, and other regional birds can be found at this park. The property has no exceptional geological, topographic, or hydrologic characteristics that are of a concern to environmental factors in this project, as this project site is located at a fully developed park. The development of Mikowski Park consists of rehabbing the area to adhere to a fully, what we call Jake's Law. One of the grants that the Green Acres has available for the municipalities is one that's called Jake's Law. Jake's Law allow us to apply for grant funding that will allow us to turn a park into an inclusive playground or site for all those who may be suffering from any physical or any disabilities. This park is to be totally inclusive. It will include what we call DuraFloor. Most of you might see in other parks where you have wood chips and things of that nature. This will not include that. It will be a rubber flooring so that kids can mobilize and navigate the area with without any impediments. The installation of the area where the playground equipment will be installed will host only equipment that will be conducive to allow those with disabilities to participate. So normally you may have swings that are high, or you have steps that are high. In this particular park, you will have lower steps, you will have lower swings, you will have different swings that will allow others to get on and be locked in a little bit more thoroughly. The pieces of equipment will include platform slides, shading ramps, climbers, rockers, a spinner, swings, fitness equipment, and of course, signage. Additionally, there will be sensory equipment installed for those with specific sensory disabilities so they may use this. The objective of this project is to provide fully inclusive recreation opportunities within the city of Linden through the installation of a fully inclusive park. Some of the other characteristics of a fully inclusive park, there are 6. One is the equipment itself. It must be fully inclusive, must be allowable for those with disabilities to use. Second would be the flooring, the rubberized flooring. Third, you must have at least 20% shading. What I've shown, what you can see there at the easel, is the location of the park. I'm going to take a moment to put up the concept plan. Must be covered, whether it's natural or it's through man-made material, but we must have at least 20% shading. Another one of the characteristics is that the children have a quiet place that they can, not necessarily if they're tired of playing or want to be alone, there's a quiet area that they can go sit down and relax and rest. And one or two of the other items would be fencing. So we want to fence the area in so that none of the kids can just readily run out of the area. So we want to fence it in. And lastly but not least is the ability to ambulate throughout the entire area. We want to make sure that we have paths that the kids can access the park from the parking lot. So there will be a path from the parking lot that will lead directly to the playground. And then the last thing would be the bathrooms. You must have bathrooms that are ADA accessible. So those are some of the plans that we're looking to do at Mikowski Park. Are there any questions?
Okay, we have 2 people signed up for comments. Craig Halloran. would you please come up? Please state your name and address for the record.
Craig Halloran, 120 Donaldson Place. One, I think it's a great idea. I don't have a problem with this. It's great to see that the city is spending our tax dollars on something that's going to be beneficial to everybody, not just, you know. So I think this is a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Pat Hero?
Pat Hero, 100 West Elizabeth Avenue. Actually, as he was talking about this, tears are actually coming to my eyes. What you don't know is that earlier today, I was listening to Focus on the Family, and today and tomorrow they're having a program about special needs parents and children and their needs. And what's amazing is you don't know how many, if you're an able-bodied person, you don't know how many families have special needs children. And tears have just come to my eyes because this is just so needed in this community. And I am just so blessed that you're doing this and that this is going to be a part of our community. And I think it's going to be good for the people who have autism and also people who are mobility. Yes. Okay. Because I have a friend of mine who's an amazing woman from down in the DC area, and she has had juvenile rheumatoid arthritis all her life, and she's accomplished amazing things, and back in the day they didn't have this. So it's good to know that people like her and others will be able to have a park that they can go to. I'm just so happy about this. Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Pressy, do you want to add anything to their
Yes,
comments?
just one of the things that she touched on, that the park, although it's fully inclusive, it is also for those who normally, have the normal ability to ambulate and play. So this way, now it can be integrated with special needs and those who are not with special needs, so.
Okay. Okay, action on this matter will be taken during the resolution portion of our meeting agenda. So at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to close this public hearing. Can I have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close this portion of the meeting and ask for a second, please.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas? Roman?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemekaitis?
Yes. Okay, now we're going to go over the Green Acres funding for improvements at Wilson Pond Park, Wilson Park. Okay, again, there's informational packets at the front of the dais here. Mr. Pressy, would you please make a presentation on this concept?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Again, the city is seeking funding through the State of New Jersey Green Acres Program for the improvements at Woodrow Wilson Park Pond, located at 1198 Summit Terrace, near the Summit Terrace and Morningside Avenue intersection. There on the easel, you'll see a picture of the pond some time ago when it had aeration and things were a lot different. Through normal use, wear and tear, the pond itself has taken on some challenges. So just to go over a couple things about the pond. The pond, Woodrow Wilson Pond, is aerated, oblong pond with natural banks. What you see there is a dated pond. I'm sorry, I didn't show the council. This is some years ago. When you see dual aeration. Currently, we do not have the aeration taking place now, but wildlife exists and small animals typically found within this fully developed high-density residential development, such as the squirrels, possums, raccoons, foxes, regional birds, and geese. Additionally, the pond has fish. Now, we recently had a workshop there that was hosted by the New Jersey Wildlife and Game. And during this workshop, we had marine biologists from New Jersey Wildlife come out and give us an assessment of the pond. And they said that our pond was one of the healthiest ponds that they have seen recently. How did they judge that? Because they said fish are growing. The fish are growing, they're getting larger, and they're multiplying. So we have a very healthy pond, so it's only within our rights to do some of the good things that we plan on doing. Some of the things that we would like to do with the pond are, as part of this proposal, we would like to evaluate and present pertinent environmental information necessary to ascertain the stability of the site for the activities we're proposing. Some of the things that we would like to do is the aeration of the pond, the shoring up of the embankments of the pond through natural resources, more flowers, putting together what they call sediment, vegetated sediment forebays that will give us a stronger embankment so that people can go walk the pond. If they're going to fish there, they will not have to worry about the pond giving way or the embankment giving away. That's not an issue now, and we don't ever want it to be, but this is why we're trying to be proactive with our steps. And lastly, it will improve the existing fish that we have access to there. Many people fish there. We have a fishing derby. We do a weekly fishing program there that we have quite a few people participating in. They catch fish, catch and release, and they have a great time. It's just a great passive park. If you haven't been there, please go by and visit, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about. At this time, I would like to take questions now.
Okay, on our sign-in sheet, Mr. Halloran, please come up.
Craig Halloran, 120 Donaldson Place. Again, I think this is a great idea. My concern is what is in the sediment at the bottom of the pond, and if there are plans for dredging, can the public get access to any chemical analysis that they come up with as to what's in the pond? Based on information that Keith just gave us, I would have to say that the pond can't have that much chemical problems because the fish are thriving. Okay, I know the other thing that concerns me is that I believe there's some storm drains or whatever that empty into the pond. I know, I think I brought this number up before, is that on a city lot, roughly 40 by 100, 1 inch of rain is 1,500 gallons. That's a lot of water, okay? Is there a plan for overflow from this pond into something in case there's too much water, like what happened in North Jersey this past weekend? Look, I don't want to see anybody's house get flooded out. If we provide more water for the fish to swim in for a while, I think they'd love it. But I don't think anybody wants this extra water in their basement, in their house, or anywhere. So, I mean, I think it's a great project. I think we should proceed with this. But my own concern is stormwater in and out of the pond, and what's in the bottom of this pond if they're going to dredge it. Thank you.
Okay. Keith?
Yep, and Mr. Halloran, as we mentioned, with this grant, we're going to collect data. There are 2 storm drains that empty into, stormwater drains that empty into the pond. You have a great concern there with regard to flooding. So what we're going to do is evaluate what we currently are working with and see what can be done, how we can mitigate any threats that may exist from the pond and its flooding.
Okay.
Yes,
Councilman
I'm
Roman?
sorry, Council President.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, sir. I just wanted to comment. I'm born and raised in that neighborhood, 36 years. There was one time I saw that pond flood. It was the largest rain of my lifetime, which was Hurricane Irene. It did not affect the houses. It got into the street. You know, if you're going to make it a more flood-proof, that's great, and that's great for the added recreation. But as for a flooding concern, there's a hill there, and Jen might know as well. But you know, I spent a lot of time in that park, and I never saw it flood except for Hurricane Irene. It's a 100-year storm that it didn't even get to the houses at that time. So I just wanted to add that caveat.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pressey.
No other questions?
Again, action
Do you-
on this matter will be
Okay.
taken during the resolution portion of our agenda.
Thank you all.
Thank you. I'm going to ask for a motion to close this public hearing, please.
Council President, I'd like a motion to close the public hearing portion for the Green Acres funding and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Yes. Rivas? Roman?
Yes.
Armstead? Hudak?
Yes.
And Mrs. Yemakaitis.
Yes. Okay, we'll now move on to ordinances on hearing, beginning, we have an ordinance continued from the July 15, 2024 meeting, ordinance 6835. Okay,
An ordinance of the City Council of Linden referring to the Planning Board for review and comment, a redevelopment plan entitled Redevelopment Plan, Block 587, Lots 6, 10, and 12, and 22, Tremley Point Road, pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A-1 at sequence.
okay. Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
Yes, ma'am. This is from the Planning Board Attorney. Dear President Yamakaitis, this is to advise City Council that the Linden Planning Board, at a special meeting held on August 13th, 2024, found that the redevelopment plan for Block 587, Lots 6, 10, and 22 is substantially consistent with the master plan, and further, that the Planning Board unanimously recommended approval of the redevelopment plan, with the exception of offshore wind staging as a principal permitted use. Paragraph 5.2.1, page 4, which elimination was agreed to by the developer.
Okay,
Anthony Rinaldo, attorney for the Planning Board.
thank you, Mr. Bodak. All right, is there anyone from the public that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance 68-35 and ask for a second, please.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas?
Being that this is a continuation for last month's meeting, I will abstain.
Roman? Armstead?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6840, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23, 1999, and approved November 24, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-11, stopping or standing prohibited shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-11.2, stopping or standing prohibited during certain hours on certain streets. Add East Linden Avenue, South Side, on Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Location from the east curb line of Southwood Avenue to the west curb line of Clinton Street.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a motion that we close the hearing on ordinance 68-40, adopted, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas? Roman?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, ordinance 6841, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 26, Flood Damage Prevention, of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23, 1999, and approved November 24, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 26, Flood Damage Prevention shall be and the same is hereby amended as follows. Chapter 26, Flood Damage Prevention, amend 26-17 Stormwater Control, amend Section 26-17 Stormwater Control as follows. 2617 Stormwater Control.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing of ordinance 68-41, adopted and respectfully ask for second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas? Roman?
Yes.
Armstead? Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, we'll now move on to consent agenda items number 1 through 3. All items listed with asterisks are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion.
Council President, I make a motion that we approve 1, 2, and 3, to close the public hearing ordinance, to move approval and request. The second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas? Roman?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, we'll now move on to comments from members of the governing body. Starting with Ward 1, please.
Thank you, Council President. I'm going to start off with my City of Linden Division of Transportation and Properties report. I hereby submit the monthly financial report from the Division of Transportation and Parking for the month of July 2024. The report includes the collection of on- and off-street parking meters, railroad parking lots, railroad parking permits, and merchant parking permits. The Trenton side collections, $1,604. New York side collections, $1,184. Railroad credit card transactions, $26,732.22. Zero for railroad permits. Railroad mobile payment, 2320 parking, $9,786.75. Online railroad parking permits, $4,668. Parking meter collections, $11,098.35. Merchant permits, $125, for the grand total of $55,198.32. And this is submitted by Tyrone L. Givens, the traffic maintenance supervisor. My next report is for the Budget Review and Finance. Approval is requested for the following finance actions: the payment of bills totaling $2,700,957.63. Bills have been signed by the mayor, council president, and finance chairwoman, and a detailed check register and vouchers are on file in the clerk's office. We are in receipt of the investment made by the city treasurer for the month of July at the rate of 4.24%. I move for approval and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas? Roman?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Hudak? Mrs. Yemakaitis?
I abstain on the bill list. Okay, go ahead, Councilwoman.
Okay. Just a few brief items to just review with. First of all, there's going to be the removal of handicap parking spaces throughout the city that are no longer viable. If the person has passed or has moved away, those handicap parking signs will be removed. We just ask your patience in removing them because everyone can't be first. So we will get to them throughout the next few months, but please rest assured that they will be removed. Also, just wanted to state that it's the end of the summer, and in the next few weeks, school is going to start. We have 6,000 students that are going to be busy walking and catching buses through our ward. We're kindly asking, no, actually, we're kind of like demanding, people, please slow down and just look out for those buses. You're not allowed to pass the flashing red lights, and please be conscious of the children that are walking to and from school. Last but not least, my biggest concern in my neighborhood is that we are not the community that we used to be. We have a lot of new neighbors that are moving in, and I'm just asking the neighbors to please be neighborly. And one of those things is just speak to your neighbors. Keep an eye on what's going on in your neighborhood. If you see something, say something. If you notice that somebody is walking in somebody's backyard and you know that person does not live there, you should say something. Just sitting there and letting a person come into someone else's backyard and remove items is not the neighborly thing to do. We have gotten so far removed from what it's like to care for and take care of one another. So let's just be mindful and let's get back to that. Regardless of who you are, where you come from, this is Linden, and we like to maintain that family and that friendly environment. Hopefully, we've all enjoyed our summer, and I look forward to seeing everyone in September. Enjoy the rest of your summer, everybody, and have a wonderful, wonderful Labor Day weekend. Thank you. Now, into my report, please.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Javik.
Yes, Council President. As chairman of the Fire Committee, the Fire Prevention Bureau collected the following monies during the month of July 2024, a total of $6,902.91. Regarding the Linden Fire Department ambulance billing, the amount of $93,032.12 for July 2024 have been added to the total deposits for 2024, totaling $642,736.80. Regarding construction code, this department has issued 265 permits and processed 47 certificates and has issued 60 summonses for the month of July 2024. The monthly revenue is as follows. Building CCO permits and additional permit fees, $570,468. Zoning, $2,700. Court settlements for the month, $18,900. The reflective total being $592,068. At this time, I would like to read our personnel agenda. Number 1, Board of Health. A, approve the appointment of Sandra Roman as volunteer registered nurse at various Board of Health programs at no cost to the city as deemed appropriate by the health officer, subject to successful completion of the city's background check. B, approve the posting for a housing inspector full-time at the salary range of $38,000 to $75,463. 2, in the police department, A, accept the voluntary resignation of Christopher Banks, police recruit, effective July 16, 2024. 3, the Office of Construction Code, A, approve the posting of Clerk 1, full-time at the annual salary range of $37,298 to $82,120. B, approve the posting of a code enforcement officer full-time at the annual salary of $36,400 to $78,142. 4, the Department of Community Services. A, approve the seasonal list on file with this office, with the Office of the Clerk. 5, Department of Treasury. A, approve the extension of the work assignment of Ashley Abagada Grubbs, student assistant, effective August 24, 2024, at $15.30 per hour, not to exceed 19 hours per week. 6, personnel, approve the FMLA, NJFLA leaves on file in the Division of Personnel. I move for approval and request a second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas? Roman?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. As a reminder, I'd like to make our landlords in the city aware of a law that's in effect for lead hazards. NJAC 5-28A, lead-based paint inspections in rental dwelling units. This has been established through the DCA, the Department of Community Affairs, and the new law states that certain rental units built before 1978 are required to have an inspection to assess for lead hazards. This would also apply to residential homes that have been turned into rentals. Compliance is mandatory with fines up to $1,000 per week. Anyone with questions needing registration information can call the Board of Health at 908-474-8409. An ongoing issue in our city also is truck parking on our streets. Parking, staging, and repairing are not permitted. In addition, garbage is always left behind. I would like to let the residents know that the police have been relentless in issuing summons on a regular basis on this. At this time, I just want to wish everyone a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. Enjoy what's left of our summer. I can be reached at 908-494-4608 or email me at bjavick@linden-newjersey.gov, on Facebook, Second Ward Councilman Barry E. Javick. As always, additional information can be found on our City of Linden website. Council President, end of report.
Thank you, Councilman Javick. Councilwoman Caldwell.
Madam President, thank you. Greetings, Third Ward. I hope this message finds you well. As we approach the end of the summer, I want to remind everyone to stay safe. And if you see something, say something. If you see something, report it. Additionally, if you see any of your street lights out, please contact me, because a lighted environment in our ward is a safer environment. In my role as the chair of IT, I want to assure you that our cybersecurity team are working diligently to protect the city's information with continuous training and effective vulnerability management. And as the chair of social services, we remain committed to addressing the ongoing needs of our community. I also want to wish my son a happy birthday. He'll be 16 tomorrow. And I just want him to know that his mother and father are very proud of him, and to keep striving and keep your eye on the prize. On a sadder note, I also want to send my condolences to Miss Rita Roper and family for their loss of her son, Trell Foster. I want everyone to know that you can contact me at 908-531-0676. My email is mcaldwell@linden-newjersey.gov. And remember, Councilwoman Caldwell always follows up and follows through. Have a great evening. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Okay, Councilman Rivas.
Good evening, citizens of Linden. I guess this is the month when all of us are paying attention of our community and the safety of our community. If you see something, say something. If we would agree to all of us speak about the same, we would have not done it. But in reality, it is true. We live in a community where not only the police, or not only everyone out there needs to be watching out for all of us. We need to watch out for ourselves too, and we need to make sure that we all help each other in order to keep our communities free of crime, or free of anything that it will certainly affect our ways of life. For my neighbors in the Fifth Ward, you may keep noticing that there are still some roads that needs to be repaved due to the work that our utility companies have performed throughout the year. We have been working diligently with our engineering department, and those roads will be repaved shortly, and soon our work will have those roads repaved, and they will look good as they used to be before. I agree with everybody that summer is almost over, and there is cold weather coming in, fall coming in, and with that, students coming back to school. Please make sure that we look out for them in our communities. Please make sure that we care about them, because many of them walk our streets, many of them walk our neighborhoods, and we need to be very careful and caring about them. Someone else was saying that we need to be patient on everything that we need. We're here to work for you, and when we're talking about work, sometimes things do not happen one day for another. It takes some time, but let's be assured you that we are here working for anything that we can do in order to assist our neighbors out there in our city. I'd like to also congratulate all the city workers on the upcoming Labor Day holiday that we're going to celebrate. I salute you all like I always do. It is due to your hard work that the city continues to keep moving forward. As well as like to salute all of you out in the community who work hard and deserve a day to be recognized of the hard work that you do. As always, you can reach me at Carlos cribas@linden-nj.gov, on the phone number 908-780-6017. Thank you. That concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Roman.
Thank you, Council President. In lieu of my normal Sixth Ward report, I have some news that I wanted to share, and I wanted you to hear it from me first. After deep thought and reflection, I wanted to let you know that I'm choosing today and right now to begin the transition off of City Council. Over the coming months, I will work with Mayor Armstead, who is the Linden Democratic Chair, and the Linden Democratic Committee as a whole to pick a replacement that will care for the Sixth Ward community as I have. You know, I started this journey when I began to attend City Council meetings back in 2010, standing at that podium. And, you know, 7 years after that, I ended up on council for 7 years. And through that all, I always fought for a better Linden for everyone. And over the last 7 years, I have met and earned the votes of thousands of people, residents who have lived in this neighborhood for over 70 years, who built their homes, and people who literally just moved in. And they've all become part of my family. You know, over the last 34 years, there's only been 3 Sixth Ward councilmen, and I'm proud to stand in the company of both Charlie Crane, Bob Sadowski, and those who served this community before me. Last week, I received a phone call from a Sixth Ward resident who has lived here his entire life, and he was moving to his retirement home. However, he lived here for 80 years, and he told me that I was the best councilman he ever had. Words like that make everything that we went through up here worth it. Together, we have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for charity. Together, we staged cleanups, donation drives, especially through COVID. We did COVID vaccine clinics, testing centers. Together, we built an amazing Facebook group with hundreds of Sixth Warders in it, residents in the Sixth Ward from every single street that works as a de facto Sixth Ward virtual community neighborhood watch, and it works flawlessly. We hosted numerous Sixth Ward community meetings, put police on our streets, passed ordinances to better our community. We waged through historic warders together in Ida, sacrificing our time and effort to help the neediest in our community. And we made improvements to our parks and streets alike. Always working together as the family we are. We accomplished a lot, and there's still more to do. I look forward to spending my final months on council, passing ordinances that the Sixth Ward still need, preparing the neighborhood for this transition, making sure our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. To the Sixth Warders, it's been an honor to serve you. It's been an honor of my life. Thank you for trusting me to serve you. Thank you for allowing me to be your voice. Thank you for taking a chance on a young, scrappy kid all the way down on column G, all the way at the bottom of your ballot. Thank you for overwhelmingly re-electing me during 2 contested elections that were very stressful over the last 2 terms. We didn't always agree, but I made sure that I was always honest with you. And most importantly, I always answered the call. Your support then and now leaves me eternally grateful. Thank you to everyone else who guided me through this journey, from our staff to other politicians to our council members. I didn't always take the right steps. I think we all know that. But your assistance, your respect, and your criticism helped me grow as a person and a leader in this community. This journey was fun and crazy and sometimes extremely difficult, but all of that helped me grow into the man I am today. This is not goodbye. I'm born and raised in this city. I will still be around. In fact, I can't wait to tell you about the next chapter of my journey. I'll still visit this chamber and keep you all on your toes from time to time. But for now, I need to worry about the safety and health of my family. Moving forward, my most important job, my most important title will be dad and husband and son and brother. I look forward to having the privacy and the time to dedicate in the service of my family and in the same loving manner that I serve this Sixth Ward community. Thank you, Sixth Ward, and thank you. Thank you, Council President. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman Roman. And Anything we could do to support you in your transition, please let us know. We wish you well. There's some big shoes to fill here for the 6th Ward. Okay. Councilman Armstead?
Yes, real short. That just threw me for a loop right there. It really did. Listen, wherever your endeavors take you, may God be with you all the way. Yeah, you're my type of guy, somebody that says what he means, says what he feels. Whether you're wrong or right, you have a feeling, and I really like that about you. And you are going to be missed up here. And I'm new here, and I'm feeling a little bit of the sadness. Okay, on to my report. I don't have really too much to say about the 8th Ward, but I would like to let you guys know about an event that we had on August the 10th. We had our Community Day event. It was outstanding. I mean, really, really outstanding. So I'd like to thank Kyle Smith and Felicia Smith for hosting this event for us. I also like to thank the Recreation Program Coordinator, who did an outstanding job. Sandy Jackson, she needs to be applauded for the job that she did getting this thing together for us. And of course, Mr. Pressey, you're always on point when it comes time to doing something as far as recreation in the parks, and we appreciate everything that you have done to make our programs over there a success, and we're looking forward for our 7th one next year. Also, I'd like to give everybody my phone number once again, 908-463-8986. You can call me, and yes, if I don't answer the phone call right away, I will call you back. I have not missed one call since I've been up here and don't intend to. That's all for my report for today.
Thank you, Councilman Armstead. Councilwoman Hudak?
Thank you. Linden has a robust senior citizen club that is highly popular and is in demand. And the Senior Citizen Club has a very busy calendar of activities. For more information, please call Recreation at 908-474-8600. And if there's an infraction in the quality of your life, please notify me by a phone call or an email, because if I'm not aware, I can't assist you. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hudak. Okay, I have a short report for this evening. Just want to remind everyone, we'll be having the 9/11 Vigil, which will take place on Wednesday, September 11th at 6:30 at the Wanda Green Park on Mack Place. Last year, unfortunately, we had to cancel due to inclement weather, so hopefully this year all will go as planned. All are welcome. Our 5th Annual Polish Festival will take place on Wood Avenue on Saturday, September 21st from 12 noon to 8 p.m. Please come out, enjoy, and learn more about the Polish culture and food. The rain date is Sunday, September 22nd. At this time, I want to acknowledge the annual backpack event that took place yesterday. Hundreds of smiling faces were seen receiving the backpacks. I want to thank our Mayor's Youth Commission, our Recreation Department, Mr. Keith Pressey, and all the donors who made this annual event possible. I would be remiss not if I didn't mention Sandy Jackson, as Mark Armstead just did. She's doing a super job in her capacity as coordinator, getting these events together, and all the volunteers who came out to make this event a success. Our police department, our fire department, our library, Board of Education, the nurses were there. It was like a one-stop center, so it was really great. We were doing immunizations yesterday. Lunch applications could be filled out. It was really a top-notch event. So again, thank you to all our volunteers. I'd like to also congratulate our 4th Ward councilman who's feeling under the weather. He received his master's degree recently, as well as our 9th Ward councilman, as I mentioned in the beginning of the meeting, who just became a father. He has a new little son, so that's why he's not here this evening. Okay, as many of my colleagues have mentioned, school's going to be opening, so please be cognizant. The kids are all excited the first few weeks of school, so traffic-wise, please watch our buses please do not pass them, okay? A lot of times I've received complaints, oh, the buses are on the corners waiting for the kids. The safety of the children are the top priority of the bus drivers, the police department. You might have to wait a few minutes for the kids to board patiently. So please be patient. Okay, if anybody needs to contact me, any issues with the city, my number is 908-494-0880. Okay, we'll now move on to our resolutions for the evening. Okay, we have, we have resolutions 2024-340 through 2024-373. Can I have a motion, please?
I move for approval of Resolution 2024-340 to 2024-372 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas? Roman?
Please excuse.
Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez? I'm sorry, Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, we'll now move on to ordinances on introduction, beginning with ordinance 6842, please.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $209,000 for various capital improvements for the Division of Transportation and Properties and authorizing the issuance of $198,550 in bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Okay, can we have a motion for introduction of ordinance 6842, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce ordinance 6842 and ask for a second, please.
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas? Armstead?
Yes.
Hudak? Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6843, please.
Ordinance providing for residential overnight parking permits.
Okay, can we have a motion for introduction, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce ordinance 68-43 and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas? Armstead?
Yes.
Hudak? Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6844, please.
Ordinance authorizing an amendment to Chapter 27 of the City of Linden Special Improvement District, banning outdoor smoking effective December 31st, 2024.
Okay, can we have a motion for introduction of ordinance 6844, please?
Council President, I move for introduction of ordinance number 6844 and request a second.
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas? Armstead?
No.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6845, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden that Section 1, Chapter 7 Traffic shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-33 Handicap Parking Regulations, 7-33.1A Handicap Parking on Street. This is the removal of handicapped parking spots no longer needed.
Okay, can we have a motion for introduction, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce 6845 and ask for a second, please.
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas? Armstead?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6846, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 3 Police Regulations of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden that Chapter 3 Police Regulations, Section 3-23.2, Performance Standard, shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. Delete Section 3-23.2G in its entirety, add new Section 3-23.2G.
Okay, can we have a motion for introduction of ordinance 6846, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce ordinance 6846 and ask for a second, please.
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Rivas? Armstead?
Yes.
Hudak? Yes. Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, we'll now move on to comments from members of the public in attendance on city business only. No personal, political, or derogatory comments, not to exceed 3 minutes. Okay, we're going to start with Tom Cooney. Please state your name and address for the record, please, sir. Go ahead.
Turn the mic on.
You got it?
So, there we go.
Okay.
Okay. Go
Tom
ahead,
Cooney,
sir.
2000 Summit Terrace. Hopefully, the building department says this isn't going to happen again. I complained about the house that they're building next to mine. It's supposed to be a single-family home with 1 bedroom, 1 kitchen. This thing is like a Hilton. And my biggest complaint is it's too close to the property line. I felt bad the day it was real hot. The guy was trying to put the siding up, and he almost fell out the window. So I let him put a ladder on my property. I told him, that's it, we're done. I've had enough. This is supposedly window wells. You can have all these pictures. They got it so close. This is the fence that belonged to John. You can look at this stuff. It's unreal. That's a fire escape. If you look at the picture close, you'll see 2 silver knobs on the rim. All 4 of them have fire escapes coming out. The window is 5 or 6 foot tall. What are they going to do when it snows and somebody can't get out? The only door into the back of that building is up against the other guy's house. What's going to happen? Somebody's going to get in trouble. Somebody's going to get hurt. This is nuts. And I complained about it to the building department, and the guy said they changed some kind of law or something. But I want to get it on the record so that somebody else would know. If you see somebody knocking down a house, they gave John $550,000 for his house and knocked it down and put this monstrosity there. If they get so close to the property, they got to come on my property to do something. I told the guy, if they come over again, I'm calling the cops and having them arrested, because I've had it. One guy told me, if you don't like what we're doing, sue me. I had another guy tell me that everybody has a price. He gave me $740,000 for my house. I told him, get out of here. They're nuts. They're out of control. And what's going to happen to the sewer system, because most of these houses have 5, 6, 7 people living there, not 4 or 5 like it used to be. What's going to happen to the sewer system? And then all these big apartment buildings they're putting up. The sewer system in the city was probably put here in the 30s. It can't handle this. Something's got to give. And they put an air conditioner. These are the pictures of the air conditioner that went up on the roof. They had to bring a crane to put it up on the roof. And a guy told me you need a permit to put an air conditioner that's already on your property to replace it. You need a permit to replace it. Where's this guy's permit?
Mr. Cooney, what I'm going to ask you, are you going to stay till the end of the meeting?
Yes, I will.
Could you please see Councilman Javik as chair of Construction Code, see to both of us after the meeting? We'll get more information from you.
Sure,
Okay,
no
Councilman
problem.
Javik?
No problem.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Councilman, would you take those pictures also and make sure Mark Mataco gets them? Okay. Okay, Craig Halloran? Please state your name and address for the record.
Craig Halloran, 120 Donaldson Place. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody that had helped me with some kind of solution for my friend with this car situation. But as far as the parks and the work at the parks go, I think, again, it's a very good idea. I mean, to utilize the parks. Can't knock that. And my only question about anything, if the citizens of the city have problems with a contractor that an agency of this city uses, and there's a lot of complaints about it, how do we get rid of this contractor?
Mr. Antonelli?
Well, first of all, I mean, it'd be mere speculation on my part to tell you how to get rid of a contractor, but obviously there's a contractor hired by the city. We do have a contract in place. I don't know if it's road resurfacing or some other type of work, but my first recommendation would be if it's a contract or overseen by the engineering department, then you should interface with engineering. Again, I'm using the example of a road resurfacing project. That's who I would contact to log your complaints so that in this instance, for example, the city engineer or his designee can interface with the contractor with regard to the complaints and what they are. So I'm just giving an example, but obviously if it was something more egregious and problematic, again, someone on the city side would have to be made aware of these types of issues, and then based upon that, we would proceed in a certain direction. But we just can't simply get rid of a contractor. There is a contract, but if they're not performing as required under the contract, that's something we could certainly take into consideration.
Thank you. I do apologize. I know it was a question, and we're not supposed to ask questions. But again, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Halloran. Okay, Virginia Malik?
Virginia Malik, Lenape Road. The questions I have pertain to traffic moving, so I guess the police department, I'm really addressing this to. I have a lot of new neighbors, and they have children of different ages. And now there's bus routes that are going through my neighborhood at all different times, like to pick up maybe 2-year-olds, 5-year-olds, whatever. And sometimes they go very fast. They may be picking up kids that are actually on my street, or they use the, it's a crossroad between Princeton and Amherst, and they just kind of zoom across. I don't know what we can do about this. And also I thought maybe taking the license plate, but I noticed like the license plate of my car will have letters and numbers that I could read, but when they're in Hebrew and they are going across, I can't even write down what it is. So I just like to make the city aware that on my street, sometimes people go very fast in these buses, and you can't even, I find it strange, why is it Hebrew, and why is it not these yellow buses, whatever, having numbers that you can read. The second thing is, I always park my car either in the driveway or usually it's in the garage. And when you have a lot of people parking in front of you, if there's parties, I mean, that's fine. They have that wide open space. But who can I address this to if I see cars that are parking actually right in front of my house and I don't really know who they belong to? Who do I address that to? And if they're there for, some new cars are coming there, I don't really know who they belong to, and they're there like overnight, what do I do about this? Who do I address this to? So that's another issue for, any comments, Chief?
Good evening. Regarding the buses, we've had ongoing over the last several months. Things have quieted down, but we've had complaints about the buses. My suggestion is, if possible, if you can get a bus, not the plate number, maybe a bus number. Sometimes they 135, sometimes they'll have a bus. If you can get that, we can try to make a phone call to the company and address it. We're getting some complaints. Regarding the cars, I mean, a public street is a public street. If you think a car is unregistered, stolen, or abandoned, call us and we'll certainly come and check the plate. Generally, if it's parked less than 48 hours and it's legally parked, it's really nothing the police department can do about it. It has to be unregistered, obviously stolen, and if it's left in a spot for several days, a week or more, then it is summonsable. Usually it's over 48 hours. We can write a summons for
improper parking or over a certain time period.
I say, these are just new cars. I don't know who they really belong to, and it's just strange, like, where they're really parking. And with the buses, the other thing which I've noticed is that the bus drivers are sometimes, and I find it appalling, the kids are actually standing. So as this bus is zooming in front of me, especially when they're older children, like maybe, I'm not a good judge of age, like 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old, they're standing in the row, not sitting down, and the bus is kind of zipping away. So something has to be done about this. And with the cars that are parked, they are now habitually showing up there, and if I don't know who they belong to, you say it's a free street parking, which I agree, but you don't know who it belongs to. And there's been some incidences that I've mentioned this to the council president, that certain situations have occurred where I can be just standing in my driveway and some cars kind of pull up and they're doing something that I would find rather unusual. It's like late at night, and what do I do to address this? Should I bring this up to the police department?
If there's something going on suspicious in a vehicle, you can call anytime for that. We'll
I
certainly
can't say
respond.
suspicious, but it's rather unusual, the things that are happening.
If
Okay.
you're not sure, you can always call and we can check something. But
Yeah.
again, the towing issue is a whole other story. If it's illegally registered, the car's being moved around, even if they're people visiting a house, if the cars aren't there
Right.
more than several days or are banned and are unregistered, sometimes there's not a lot we can do.
And if the cars have an out-of-state license and it's been parking there for many, many months, is there any restriction or any code that if someone is parking their car, supposedly living somewhere, that they no longer convert from out-of-state after like 6 months, 8 months to a New Jersey license?
There is a statute, and again, that's hard to, unless we physically go around to see every out-of-state car in the city, it's definitely improper, and if you have residents here, there is a time frame when you have to, supposed to re-register your car to New Jersey.
And do I address that to the police
Yeah,
department?
you can call the traffic bureau, you
Got
can
it.
call us, yes.
Very good, okay. And then one last thing is the person about driving the bus. They habitually use, they're driving kids and they're on the cell phone. That's the last thing I want to say.
Ms. Malik. Thank you. Hey, Pat Hero?
Pat Hero, 100 West Elizabeth Avenue. Last month, I mentioned the problem I had with the statement that has appeared on the city council agenda, sometimes repeated by the council president, of no personal, no political, and no derogatory statements. The problem I have is that the mayor, the council president, and the members of the city council have all sworn or affirmed to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. There are some in this room who have done the same. The greatness of the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution is, among other great rights, the provision of freedom of speech and the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances. As the Iowa State University website so succinctly put it, freedom of speech is the right to articulate opinions and ideas without interference, retaliation, or punishment from the government. There are some limitations on some categories of speech, such as child pornography, obscenity, fraud, defamation, speech that incites imminent lawless activity, and true threats. I believe that no personal, no political, and no derogatory statements are far more restrictive to speech than they should be. A better response is to encourage public participation with a statement of, "We welcome your opinions, and we're glad to listen to you." When people feel heard and listened to, they are appreciative. The actions the City Council take affect the people of Linden. You should encourage their participation at City Council meetings, not discourage it with statements such as no personal, political, or derogatory comments. I guess when they say no personal, I guess I can't say that. I really appreciate the Armstead family personally. There's not a member of the Armstead family that I haven't liked. And I especially remember a kindness that Danny Armstead showed me 20 years ago that still makes me smile. When it comes to politics, I guess I can't say to the mayor, who sadly isn't here, I would have said, Mayor, if I could have a few minutes of your time, and I would have said that maybe losing the election isn't all bad. As my mom once said, answered prayers sometimes cause more problems than unanswered prayers. And maybe Washington isn't, well, I'll just say Washington, D.C. is not Linden, New Jersey, and someday I will talk with the mayor about that. And that's a good thing, I might add. And the other thing is derogatory comments. Well, actions do speak louder than words. Sometimes the actions that the city council may take may hurt people. Sometimes they may get a little upset. As long as they're not violent about it and they kind of maintain their decorum, I always try to maintain decorum. Maybe we should let them have their way, at least have their speech. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Hierro. John Kazor?
John Kaiser, 23 West Munsell Avenue. So, wow. Guys, remember I came up here in November 2019, and I did not say a word? For the first time, I'm more speechless than that day. I'd always love to know what you told her that day, too, Mr. Antonelli. Wow, I don't even know what to say. Blindsided. I had stuff to say to the mayor. He's not here. And now my ex-councilman sneaks out the back door. I'm going to temper my comments. We have children here. I don't know. I'm going to say thank you, John. John was a good councilman. John's a great councilman. He did a lot of good for the ward. It was really a shame last year that I had to run against him. You know, he had his. We talked many days that it was going to be from him to me, and then what did politics do? He switched up and. I had to do what I had to do. And what's happening today is what everyone said was going to happen. And we knew it. So now the mayor, as the head of the Democratic committee, it's kind of like Kamala Harris, right? She had no votes, and she's the Democrat presidential candidate. And now there's going to be somebody that doesn't get elected, and it's going to be another Armstead puppet. So it's a sad day. But you know what? I have to be grateful, right? For life. Next month, 8 years, clean and sober. So nothing really matters when it comes down to that. If I was celebrating 9 years, John would have never been the councilman. And he just, he did prove that he might live in the 6th Ward, but he ain't from the 6th Ward. But I wish him well. I'm always gonna have love for him. I just can't believe he left before public comment, because I would shake his hand. Man, I don't know. We'll see where this goes. So, like I said, where's the mayor? I missed it. I'm sorry.
He's excused this evening.
Okay. He was excused last night too, because last night, the backpack thing was disguised as a voter registration thing. So anyway, that's it. Take care.
Okay, can we have a motion to close the public comment portion of the meeting, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to close the public portion and ask for a second, please.
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Yes. Rivas?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, comments from members of the governing body? Anyone on the dais wish to speak at this time? Councilwoman Caldwell?
I just want to wish Councilman John Roman Francis the best on his new chapter, his new journey. Wish him well. And I think he did a great job for the people of the 6th Ward.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anyone else wish to speak? Okay, Councilman Rivas?
I'd like to echo Councilman Caldwell. I had an opportunity to be next to Councilman Roman for a year and a half. This is my first term as a councilman, and I think, believe it or not, that I have admired how he has presented himself in many different aspects of our jobs, of the responsibilities and duties that we have. So I wish him well. He caught us by surprise, and I know that we're probably going to have to discuss the transition, as he said, and we are more than happy to help him with the transition, and anything that we can do, we're always going to be here to support him. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilman Javik?
I also want to echo that, wishing John and his family all the best that life has to offer him. And caught me by surprise tonight. I didn't expect it,
Everyone.
but I do wish them all the best.
Councilwoman Ormond?
Likewise, the best job and the most important job in this world is being a father and being a husband. I just think it's admirable that he wants to take the time to devote to the little girl that he is the daddy of. So, wishing him well, and if he is half the father that he always talks about his father was, he is going to be amazing.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Well said. Anyone else? Okay. All right. I just would like to reiterate, the council was taken by surprise tonight. We're going to make sure it's a smooth transition for him and the 6th Ward. Okay. I'd also like to offer my condolences to the Roper family, Rita Roper, on the loss of her son. And just to follow up, wishing everyone a happy Labor Day weekend. Summer's not over yet. We still got through mid-September, so please enjoy, but enjoy safely. Okay. The next council meetings will be as follows. Council conference meeting Monday, September 16th at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall. Council conference meeting Tuesday, September 17th at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall. Council meeting Tuesday, September 17th at 7 p.m. in the council meeting room. These meetings will be held in person. Can we have a motion to adjourn, please?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Ormond?
Yes.
Gavitt?
Yes?
Caldwell? Rivas? Yes. Armstead?
Yes.
Hudak? Yes. Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Have a good evening, everyone.